Addictions Explained. Let's go. First up, caffeine. Can't start the day without your coffee fix? You wake up in the morning, stumbling into the kitchen like a zombie ready to brew the strongest caffeine known to mankind, only to have your heart start racing like a Formula One car, hands shaking like a leaf, and you're convinced you can see sound. Ready for the day. No, just me? Well, maybe you start your day by giving your Starbucks barista an overcomplicated order that you know will make them quit. You do you. Well, you're not alone. Either way, caffeine is a central nervous system stimulant that keeps millions of us awake and alert. Found in coffee, tea, energy drinks, etc., caffeine is the world's most widely consumed psychoactive drug. It works by blocking the inhibitory neurotransmitter adenosine, say that without your morning brew, leading to increased alertness and wakefulness. Some caffeine drinks may also contain other stimulants that can amplify the effects of caffeine and pose additional health risk. Moderation is key. Limit your intake, read those labels, and listen to your body. Or, sleep and stay hydrated. That works too. Nicotine. Nicotine, the famous troublemaker of the chemical world. It really has a knack for making people hooked. It's like that one friend who always convinces you to do something crazy and then leaves you holding the bag. And sadly, it will leave you more addicted than a cat chasing a laser pointer. Found in cigarettes, vapes, and other tobacco products, it's highly addictive. And despite tobacco companies long ago admitting that they know it's addictive, damages your lungs, and can cause cancer, people still pick up this habit. Why? Because it stimulates the release of dopamine, creating a temporary feeling of pleasure and relaxation. Dopamine. That just keeps coming up. Seems important, right? And it is. People love to feel good, and companies make money by finding things that give us more of it. Like a rat in a maze that keeps pushing the treat button, we stay in the loop, going round and round. Pleasure and reward. However, this short-term relief comes with long-term consequences. The harmful effects of smoking are well documented. Things like increased blood pressure and heart rate, narrowed arteries, heart disease, cancer. What a fun list. Perks of the battle between your willpower and the urge to suck on a tiny stick. Cocaine. It can come into your life like an uninvited guest, making everyone think you are the life of the party. But really, it's the ultimate party crasher. It was waxed and waned in popularity in the party scene, but it's actually a really old drug found in a leaf that people have been ingesting for thousands of years. It's still used in surgery to stop bleeding because it helps constrict blood vessels. Chemically, cocaine, and its creepy cousin crack, is a powerful stimulant that affects the brain's reward pathway, creating intense feelings of euphoria and increased energy. Briefly, internally, it can wreak havoc on your heart, cause seizures, and in some cases, psychosis. When people first use it, their brains are full of juicy, happy neurotransmitters and they feel mostly euphoria. But with regular use, the happy neurotransmitters, your dignity, and or your nose, get used up in some random order. Then the user's brain just starts riffing on the fight and flight neurotransmitters that are left in the brain. That's when the crazy side of coke comes out like Jack Nicklaus in The Shining. Creepy, violent, and paranoid. Social media. Are you always glued to your screen, constantly checking for notifications, doom scrolling, liking pictures of random dogs you don't even know? What started out as a fun way to stay connected has evolved into a whole new addiction, but one that no one really wants to talk about. Some of us grew up with phones that were only connected to the wall and had to send printed photos in the mail. But before you can say, okay, boomer, let's reflect on what social media has done for us. The age of convenience and connection. Sounds harmless, right? True, in many ways, it is a beautiful thing. But remember, social media is designed to keep us hooked, giving us dopamine hits from likes and comments. But it also allows people to feel safe and faceless while bullying strangers online, pulling self-worth from reactions and comments from strangers around the world. Seeing filtered, well-lit, perfectly angled photos that are nothing like reality can set you up for failure in comparison. As we replace real face-to-face interaction with text and emoticons, this can lead to mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem, especially when we compare ourselves to others' curated lives. Food. Can you be addicted to something essential for life? Food. I mean, you need it, of course, but it also can be a reward for celebrations or special occasions. Who can resist the siren call of a cheeseburger or the seductive whispers of a slice of cake? Companies that process a lot of our food know that too. Foods are designed on purpose to have taste, textures, mouthfeels, and flavors that are more intense and enjoyable than you can just whip up in your kitchen. They would like to think that the only rehab you need is a bigger pair of pants. But when you eat food, especially those that are salty, fried, or fatty, your brain activates your reward center. Now, maybe you crave certain foods, eat compulsively when you are hungry, or use fried chicken as a coping mechanism to deal with intense emotions, or, as we say, eating your feelings. Just like someone addicted to drugs, food cravings are real. Those who are restricted from eating their preferred foods, such as people on a diet, can become irritable, anxious, depressed, and experience intense cravings similar to those with drug addiction. Gambling. While gambling can be a fun pastime for some, for others it becomes an uncontrollable compulsion. The thrill of winning and the fear of losing create a powerful cycle in the brain that mimics other types of substance abuse that activate the reward system. Why? Neurotransmitters. The brain loves some dopamine, and once that button is being pushed regularly, you will keep craving it. It's all about pleasure and reinforcement. Will I win? I almost won. I could still win. It all feels the same, and the more the stimuli continues, we start to crave the flashy lights, spinning wheels, and wondering what's in the next hand. The trap is that the more rewards and the more pleasure that you get, the more you need to get the same feeling. And so you start to chase that high because there's still the anticipation and the possibility that you are about to hit it big. You just need one more spin. Alcohol. Okay, I'm no Jamie Foxx, but that would have sounded better if you had some alcohol, and it's easy to get, legal, and it makes you a better dancer and singer, right? In reality, alcohol is one of the most commonly abused substances in the world, hands down. Like all addictions, it affects the brain's neurotransmitters, which are chemicals in the brain that send messages between different parts. In this case, alcohol soothes the rough edges, which provide a sense of euphoria and relaxation. It feels good. What could happen, right? But like most substances of addiction, your body can quickly develop a tolerance. This means that the feeling of inhibition you used to get after one drink now takes 4. Or perhaps now you can't even stop drinking without feeling physically ill. And we don't mean hungover. Fact, no one knows where the magical line is between drinking and becoming an alcoholic until they have passed it. For some, the saying, hair of the dog, is real because the addiction to alcohol can be so strong in many that quitting without medical help can be fatal. Once a person is physically dependent on alcohol, in as little as 24 hours from the last drink, they start feeling symptoms of withdrawal, such as anxiety, nausea, sweating, and headaches. Left untreated, this can even progress to a condition called delirium tremens, where confusion, hallucinations, and even seizures can occur. Plastic surgery. Everyone wants to look good, right? But what happens when what you see when you look at yourself doesn't match up with reality? The term body dysmorphia describes this as when a person becomes obsessed with perceived flaws in their appearance. If this is happening to you, therapy is a great place to start. But for some, they end up in a plastic surgeon's office. And just like anything else, there are those who get addicted to the surgeon's knife. A little nip here, a little tuck there, and all of a sudden, you're on your 17th nose job, wanting just a little more until there's nothing left. In the brain, just the anticipation of the procedure or the expected outcome can release chemicals in the brain associated with reward and happiness. We've all seen enough reality shows with people chasing perfection to make themselves look like Barbie with no end in sight. Heroin and opiates. We've all heard of it, but no one thinks they're going to end up on this road. It's a rough one. Heroin and its nasty new sidekick, fentanyl, are opioids with a high potential for addiction. It works by binding to pain receptors in the brain. It causes the release of brain chemicals that would normally be released naturally when you experience happiness, such as hugging a loved one, eating good food, or doing a fun activity. Instead, heroin takes over and actually alters the brain in a way that makes those natural activities feel as good as watching paint dry. Then the only way you can feel good at all is by using the drug. It can give you euphoria and pain relief, which is how some people get caught in this web in the first place. Something as simple as the misuse of a narcotic prescription after surgery can evolve into a spiral of depression to just feel better. The need to get high becomes so strong that the brain only feels normal when the drug levels are right. Important fact, narcotics like heroin make you want to stop breathing. So people chase the high right towards the ever-setting sunset. and sometimes misstep over the edge and stop breathing without life-saving Narcan.